We're back, everybody. It's the evening of October 3rd, and I feel like I'm hunting in Hawaii. It's about 80 degrees out this afternoon. Wind right out of the north, which is weird to have such warm weather when the wind's coming out of the north, but it is. I double checked. It's definitely coming out of the north. So we're gonna see if we can't stick a big doe tonight. We're up here at what we call our gas well piece on the new seating. It's the same spot Kaylee and I hunted the other night when that big doe came out, and Kaylee could never really line up a shot for her. She's a huge doe, and I would love for her to come out tonight because I'll probably make one happen. I'll slip an arrow through a hole somewhere and end up taking her lungs out, but not really anticipating much deer movement tonight with how hot it is. You know, the movement we are going to see is going to be right at dark. So let's get our stuff around. Get up there. I'm hunting in shorts. I got some pants with me to stick on when the mosquitoes get bad right before dark. I got a thermocell too, so I'm not messing around with that. Go ahead and get the pack on here. We'll get the old Matthews. And we're good to go. Climb up in and try not to sweat too much on the way there. There's a big woodchuck pole right out here in the middle of this new seating, and I've got a crappy arrow with me, so if that sucker comes back out at 65 yards, we might launch one for the heck of it. We made it up into the tree, and my fourth arrow strap here was just long enough to get me around this massive maple tree. I had to put it up higher than I wanted, where the tree got a little bit skinnier. So my camera arm's up by my head, but that's actually good because a lot of my shooting lanes are up top here over these limbs, so I should have a good angle with the shot. If that big doe comes out here, I'd love for her to come out on this trail at 15 yards right here where this scrape is. I think we've got a while before any deer come out with how hot it is. As I stand here in shorts. It's a good thing there's a lot of cover in this tree. The stand is really low to the ground. It's only about 8 feet off the ground. So it's not like you have a bunch of cover just being up high. This maple tree is really bushy and has a lot of limbs coming off really low, so you really don't have to be up high in this tree to keep good cover. It'd be fun if a doe came under here to hop on her and stick her. It's not legal in New York, but it's still kind of fun to think about. We'll see what happens. It's perfect going right this way. I'm anticipating my shot right over here somewhere. Oh, first deer of the night is out. Over there on Brian's cornfield. Let's see what time it is. 6:10. It's actually a lot earlier than I figured I'd see the first one tonight. wish Kaylee was with me. That's definitely a deer she would shoot. That's a mature buck. Right at 32 yards. Well, so far tonight all we've had is 3 or 4 bucks. That big mature older deer came out and ripped up a scrape right here at 30 yards in front of me. Then he worked behind the tree limb right up the edge of the field, went around the corner over here. Of course he couldn't do that when Kaylee was with me the other night. Just my luck, or our luck. Kaylee would have happily shot that deer, but that's probably the oldest, most mature deer I've ever let go, just because, you know, I've got bigger deer to hunt. It's hard letting a deer like that just tear up a scrape right in front of you and walk away, but what are you gonna do? If I shoot him, I'm done, and I'm not ready to be done. So we're gonna sit tight, maybe a doe will come out here. Fingers crossed. Just had another nice 2-year-old 8-point come out right where that mature buck walked back into the woods. I heard some rustle around in there, like maybe they were fighting or carrying on with each other. And then he came walking out. Well, that's just my luck. Come up here to shoot a big mature doe and all I see is bucks. I ended up seeing 7 different bucks out here all together. That real nice, I mean, it wasn't a nice racked buck, but it was a mature buck. Definitely 4.5+ year old buck. Tore up that scrape right here at 28 yards, about 30 yards. And I had a bunch of little spikes come out. A little 6-point came out right here to my right. Surprisingly, never winded me. My wind was going right at him. Then we had that mature buck went back into the woods right there, and then right where he went in, I had a little 8-point come out, 2.5-year-old buck. But really surprising evening. I never imagined, with it being so warm, that these bucks would be moving like that. I was just hoping on a big doe to come walking out here, and I never even saw one. Over here, at least, there's a bunch of doe came out across the corner. Feels kind of weird letting a big mature buck like that go, but you know, it's really just hunter's preference, you know. It's October 3rd. I've got a lot of bow hunting to go, and there's bigger bucks to hunt than him. I know some of you guys would be like, you're freaking nuts, but you know, that was a decision that I made, and you know, if I don't end up killing a mature buck with a bow, it is what it is, you know. It's my decision to make whether I shoot something or not, and you know, I'm sure somebody else will shoot that buck and be extremely happy with it. If I shot it, I'd be like pretty bummed that I wouldn't get to hunt some of the other deer, you know, the rest of the archery season. So fun to video him out in the field and hit that scrape tonight, but we've got about 7 minutes of legal shooting light left, so maybe a doe will pop out here. Well, I made it back home, and I was going to wrap this evening's hunt up. It was totally unexpected to see that many bucks, and to see a mature deer was really unexpected. It was pretty fun to see that buck. There's no doubt that that deer is 4.5+ years old. That's actually the same buck I videotaped out there a bunch earlier this fall. I actually videotaped him while he had a chunk of velvet hanging off the base, and he was out there with the buck that, you know, I would shoot, that we call Big Al. Big Al hasn't been daylighting out there at all. I knew there was a good possibility to see that buck at some point because he does spend a lot of time there, you know, close to when it's getting light out, and I do have some daylight pictures of him working those scrapes. What was actually funny, so I just got back, and my cell cam went off from that stand that was, or from that hanging vine scrape that was like 15 yards in front of the stand. He was already back out in the field, and he hit that scrape. I'll show you guys the picture of him hitting that scrape right now. So he's getting pretty aggressive. He ripped up a few different scrapes, and then so he came out and fed in the field for a while, and then he heard another. At the time, he just kind of picked his head up and walked straight into the woods, and I didn't know what was going on. Well, a little while later, a 2.5-year-old 8-point came walking out of there. So he saw or heard that buck in there, and he kind of went in there, and I think he pretty much flexed at him and then went about his business checking more scrapes and stuff, and that other buck actually ended up coming out to the field. But pretty incredible sit for it being 80 degrees. I was not anticipating that, and of course no big does came anywhere near me, but that's how it goes. I wish Kaylee would have been with me tonight, because she would have had, you know, 28-yard shot at that deer slamming that scrape. That would have been some pretty awesome footage. But I've got my heart set on a few other deer, and certainly way too early to be launching arrows at deer I wouldn't be too excited about. So lots more hunting to come. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys are having a good season. And if you would have shot that buck, tell me in the comments if you would have let him have it. Thanks for watching, everybody.